access. Access to different parts of the city that could be a little more challenging if I had to drive. So, and that's fun and adventurous. I think it was probably one of my first ones that I was going from the Woodstock area into downtown. And so it's a decent ride. And to me, one of the most meaningful ones is just the courtesy that other walkers and bikers have for each other. Walkers would move out of the way, allow you to pass. Bikers the same way. And so it was really meaningful because by the time I got toward the end, I was pretty gassed. But what's really meaningful about it is the whole way I just found folks to be really engaging, kind. You get a wave, you get a head nod, something where like they acknowledge your presence. And so for me, that was just a really neat, because it was one of my first experiences on the Greenway. And so it stands out as something that's just really meaningful. And I'm certain that that's what leads me to want to continue to access it. I moved here from Pennsylvania. Different environment, not a lot of greenways. There's some, but nothing like here. And I came from a smaller town where there wasn't the same access on those greenways. Like I've ridden the Greenway to go out to a lunch date downtown, or just to ride to see a friend who like kind of lives nearby. So that it's just a different level of access that I haven't seen in a lot of other places. I've mostly traveled during the day, but sometimes I've been there at twilight, a little bit in the evening. I've always felt pretty comfortable on the greenways. Folks have been very kind. At one point I lived in Southeast and would bike to go out to lunch or to go out to work, like to get closer to downtown or into downtown without having to drive, because sometimes that drive into downtown is a little bit of a challenge. But the Greenway is just a great way, and it's it's a pretty scenic drive. You know, when I was heading toward it, I had the rivers to my left, some nice housing, and a bunch of other things. So it was just a great ride. So I've used it to go out to eat, to visit friends at their homes, for exercise, like just to go a certain distance and head back, like work up a sweat. So use it for multiple things. I work mostly from home, and so it allows me to get out of the house and find different work environments. I'm not originally from here, and my mind is blown because the drivers always give way. I have rarely had an occasion where a driver hasn't. Like, I live in an area where there's a street and there's a little space where there's a greenway, and everyone will stop before they get to the greenway, look both ways, and then like move over up to the stop sign. And it's always been that way for me. It's one of the things I've only been here a year, and it's one of the things I've grown to really appreciate about being around here is folks give bikers and walkers the right of way. If there's a thing that bothers me, it would be continuing to find better ways of connecting places, like minimizing the interaction with cars as much as possible. I would say that's something that I hope folks continue to work at. It's a lifeline to all sorts of things that this city and this community has to offer. And if you have a bike, get on it. If you don't, there are plenty of great bike shops in town to allow you that opportunity. And I mean, it's just a different way to see the city, and it's pretty spectacular. Biking on the Greenway has made me more aware as a driver, looking at my peripherals as folk crossing, and extending the same courtesies that I felt I've experienced. So I think it's increased. I feel like it's increased my awareness.